gotta focus on the myths that matter. You know, we're focusing on these the institutional myths that don't matter. You're wasting your time. You know, and it's okay to waste your time if that's what you're about. You know what I mean? If you're about time wasting, for lack of a better description, you're about time wasting, then by all means. But at the same time, don't perpetrate like you aren't if you are. You know. So how the outward world affects you internally is important. You know, like things that institutional myths that matter versus those that shouldn't matter, those that can't stand the test of time, those kind of things. That shit is important. And if you can't differentiate between the two, then it's because you don't have universal focus. You're not focused. You know, people they like misinterpret being a Stoic, what that means. And I think people assume that you're supposed to somehow perform reverse psychology on yourself, like shit that's not alright is alright, or somehow meant for you, or that just because a particular, like an explanation after the outcome, oh, I couldn't control it. Well, some things you could have controlled. Saying that you can't control something is self-defeating. Can you control that you can't control it? You know what I mean? So, if you don't focus on the myths that matter, this stuff can become real convoluted. But Stoicism is not really about that. A real Stoic is honest. You know what I mean? Saying that things don't affect you, it's almost like it's useless. You're saying things don't affect you, negative things don't affect you, but somehow you want positive things too to affect you. Nah, you can't have the day without the night. You know what I mean? It's just that we know what the day is because of the night. You know, the day is a reference because we have night, and the night is a reference because we have day. So it's the same way. This thing that happened to me doesn't affect me. And that leads to somehow being prosperous. Well, how do you know prosperity? How does prosperity affect you? You know? Should we also negate positive effects as well? Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is the point? That's not what a Stoic is, man. So, people have a really convoluted idea of what that means, and it needs to be addressed. And we can go to the books, we can go to Greek Stoics, but there's no need. You know, something you could still move on and hold on at the same time. In a mental and biophysical universe, you can do that. In the world of physics, it's hard to do that, to move on from something and hold on. Yeah, it might be physically incompatible, but emotionally, you can do these things, you know? That's the whole premise behind PTSD. That's what PTSD is all about, man. PTSD is all about post-triggers, post-trauma, way after the trauma. You know what I mean? So even though you're moving on with your life, you're still fucked up. you're still fucked up. And so I think the more you try to understand the dynamic of what you claim to be, the more you understand the science behind it, the ontology, its ontology, the more you can be honest about whether you are that thing or not. And I think people don't do that enough, and that's where the void comes. That's where a lot of miscommunication comes. So that's very important.